All right, so part 3 of our options tutorial, if you will. So now what we're going to do is remember, we're going to show you exactly what will happen between now and June with Walmart, with me having sold the option to Jake, what's called a covered call, and I can know exactly what my gain or potential loss will be. I know that for a fact. Jake does not know. He knows what his max loss is. Again, his amount at risk, his money at risk, MAR. He knows what his money at risk is. He doesn't know what his gain will be, but he knows for a fact what his risk will be. I know for a fact what my risk will be as well. So we've established a little bit here and are making these trades. Jake is willing to take a risk on something. I'm willing to take a risk on something. So remember, Josh has 100 shares of Walmart, and we'll just say I bought it at $93.79. We'll just say for simplicity I bought it at $93.79. So we take our trusty calculator, 93.79 times 100. So I spent $9,379. $9,379. That is my money at risk. All right, so far with me so far. But I also got on was paying a roughly $2.08 dividend, so I'm getting $208 dividend plus I'm getting another $406 from selling the option. Okay, I keep doing that. Selling option. So now and again, we're just going to say I got that dividend for the full year. That's probably not going to get that exact amount because this is only for June. But just you understand, if they're paying $2 a dividend, and I get that dividend, that will be how much I get. Now, if they don't pay until December, I don't get that potentially. But you just recognize the fact that if you sell a covered call, you are still getting the dividend. All right, so $93.79 minus $208. Minus 406. So my money at risk is 87. Was that 65? Yeah, 65. So if Walmart goes to zero, if Walmart goes bankrupt, all I lose is this right here, because I've already got that, and I presume I'm going to get that as well. That's the benefit of selling covered calls. We've reduced our risk inherently. We've reduced our risk by the amount that the premium we generate to sell that call. So if Walmart goes to zero, the money I'm going to lose is $8,700. If I did not sell the option, if Walmart went to zero, it'd be the difference between the dividend and what I put at risk when I bought the shares. I hope that makes sense because that's critical. At the end of the day, investing is simply about money at risk. All right, so now let's go to Jake. Jake, on the other hand, maybe he says, look, I like Walmart, but that new CEO they're bringing on, I don't know, man. That guy, remember Walmart actually got involved with the Al Gore. They took the Al Gore, who is that, Naomi something? And she was going to be it was a CEO or some green guy on Al Gore's campaign. And he wanted really to make Walmart be a green company and to compete with Target or something like that. What's that dude's name? I forgot. But anyway, it was just a clusterfuck. It was horrible. It was Walmart stupid doing that. And that guy still has chops in the environmental community too. I forgot his name. It's just as silly. So anyway, he tried all this stuff to make Walmart a hoity-toity place. And look, I don't care what you think about Walmart, but if you go though, hoity-toity is not. Do I get shaving cream on you? Okay, hoity-toity is not what their customer base is trying to aspire to. I mean, that's just a fact. So, and I go to Walmart all the time. And trust me, hoity-toity, it ain't me. All right, so anyway, so that's my money at risk. Oops, I want to go to Jake. Now, Jake's money at risk, actually, let's do Josh, M-A-R, 83.79, I think is what I said. Or what did I say? 87.65. 87.65. Now, Jake, on the other hand, what's his money at risk? Well, it's just the amount that he paid me for the premium, $406. The cost of buying the option. In this case, a call option. All right, does it make sense? So Jake said, look, Josh is taking the risk of Walmart going bankrupt. I'm willing to take a risk of losing $406 for the opportunity to take advantage of a increase in Walmart share price that a lot of people he thinks are discounting. So maybe they got rid of the Al Gore guy and they said they hired Obama's guy. What's that? I don't even know the dude's name. David something, whatever. And that guy is, I don't know, a brilliant genius or something like that. So Jake says, look, I didn't like the Al Gore guy. I like the Obama guy. I think the Obama guy has a lot of opportunity. I think a lot of people are discounting him, though. But I'm not willing to put 87.65 at risk. In fact, it'd be more than that because, again, the reason my risk is only 87.65 is because this 406 that Jake provided me in the premium for the option. So Jake says, look, I like this new guy from Obama's campaign. He's going to go in there, bust heads, and do stuff, whatever. I just don't like him enough to put $99,000 at risk. So I am willing to put $406 at risk because the worst case scenario, I know for a fact I will only be out $406. And Jake said, well, I'm willing to take that risk. I'm willing to be out $406 in order to take advantage of potential and upside. So Jake, money at risk, $406. All right, so now what happens is Walmart, we're going to say for simplicity, 95. Walmart's trading at 95. It's going to do one of three things. Only one of three things. It's going to stay flat. It's going to go up. Or it's going to go down. That's it. One of those three things are going to do. In two of the scenarios, I win to some degree. In two of the scenarios, so what happens if Walmart stays flat, June 19 is when the strike price or the option contract expires. So Jake has from now until June for the price of Walmart to go above 100 because that's the strike price. Strike price equals 100. So if the price of Walmart goes above 100 between now and June 21st, 2019, Jake wins. But be careful now because you remember he still has 406 at risk. So let's just say we wake up June 21st, 2019. And remember, for an American option, you can exercise it whenever you want. These are not European options, which only exercise, if I recall right, at the end of the option term. I mean, it could be March, it could be tomorrow, it could be any time we want. Jake says, I have the price right now of Walmart is $95 a share. I paid $4 per share for the option to take that stock from Josh, to call it away from Josh at 100. If the price goes to 105, all right, what happens to Jake? Well, he sends to me $100. He sends to me $100, in this case $10,000, because 100 shares at $100 is $10,000. So the price goes to 105. Jake buys it from me at 100. I hope that makes sense. Jake says, Josh, here's $10,000. Give me the share. So let's erase this. So we'll start with that. We'll start with the premise that in June 2019, the price is at 105. Remember, the strike price is at 95. All right, so Jake then says, I will pay you $100 for that 105 shares. All right, so Jake says, here's $10,000. So now, what happened to me? Remember, I started with what I paid for, $93.79, I think. We'll just say it was. So Josh paid $93.79. All right, but I'm going to get back $10,000. Gets $10,000 because I know for a fact that's what I'm getting. It doesn't matter if the share is 110, 115, 250,000 million. It doesn't matter. I will get $10,000 from that share price. I know for a fact that is my upside. Nothing else matters other than what I will get my upside is. So I get $10,000 back plus the dividend plus the premium amount. So I will get $10,208. Oh, I got to figure this out. So I know if the price of Walmart goes above 100, I will get $10,208 plus 406 plus 10,000. I'll get $10,614. $10,614. And that's the maximum I will gain. I cannot make any more than that. I cannot make any more. So, but remember, I put in 93.79. So we say 93.79 divided by 10,000. I guess 10,614 minus 93.79, $1,238. What I'll make on 93.79. So I'll make 13.2% between now and June. That's not too shabby. So if Walmart goes above 100 and the price is taken from me, the stock is taken from me, I know for a fact my upside limit is 13.29%, which I'll take in 2 days flat without question. I know for a fact that's what happened to me. 13.2% is my upside potential gain. In 6 months' time, roughly, I guess 7 months' time, 8 months' time, that's pretty good. I'll take that 2 seconds flat. All right. Now, here's the thing, though. If it goes up to 105, Jake pays me $10,000 plus the 406. All right, so he doesn't get the dividend either. He just pays me $10,000. So he pays me $10,406, and he's going to turn around and get 105 or 10,500 for it. So he'll make $100. Wow. So Walmart. So he'll make $100 in that case for having risked $400. That's not a good trade. So Jake does not want Walmart to go to 105. Yes, this is without even commissions. Yes, he will make a little bit of money, but don't forget, Walmart's trading at 93.79 now. 105 minus 93.79. That means it'd have to go from $11.21 a share to 105 and divide that by current price. That means it'll have to increase by 12%. So they have to increase by 12% between now and June for Jake to basically break even, essentially. I mean, if it goes to 105, Jake's breaking even. All right, so Jake doesn't want to go to 105. He doesn't think, hey, 12% is in the cards. I want to go 50% up. So let's just say it goes to 105 at 150 in this case. Well, now Jake is going to get, what's that, $4,600 roughly. So $4,600 if it goes to 150. And how much did he risk? He risked 400. So that's where the option buyer can make out like a bandit. But I mean, we're talking if it goes from 93 to 150, that in 6 months' time, 93 to 150, that's 57 divided by 93. That's a 61% increase in the share price of Walmart between now and June. Very, very remote for that to happen. It could. If it does, he will make out like a bandit. No other way around that. Hard to see that happening, though, which is why the money at risk to Jake, he's like, look, I'm willing to risk $400 to potentially gain $4,600 in 6 to 8 months' time because I think the new CEO from Walmart is going to be kicking butt and taking names, and all I have at risk is $400. Jake's like, I'll take that any day of the week. Me, on the other hand, I already own the shares. For whatever reason, I already own it. And so I'm like, well, I don't think this new guy from Walmart is going to go in there and kick butt and take names. I'm willing to essentially lock in my upside. Because remember, if it goes to 150 from 100, old Josh, I don't get any of that. I just get all the maximum I can do is get to 100. That's it. Now, I still get the dividends that paid out. But come June, Jake's like, hey, Josh, I'm calling my shares. Sell it to me, buddy. And I'll say, oh, man, I could have made an extra $4,600. That's it. So Jake has huge upside potential, limited downside potential, but the likelihood of that happening, of getting the upside potential is quite low. The likelihood of him losing his money at risk is quite high. Right? So risk versus reward. He's taking high risk, high reward. That's how it works. Josh, on the other hand, is saying, I have limited downside potential because it go to zero. I know for a fact if Walmart goes to zero, I lose everything. I lose my money at risk, which I guess was, I forgot, $87.65. Jake's money at risk is $406. My upside potential is 13%. Jake's upside potential is essentially unlimited. It can go to anything he wants. And that's the option thing that comes in. Now, real quick, what happens if Walmart stays flat? We'll just say it stays at 95, or it just even goes to 99. So we got, we'll say it's at 95 now. It goes to 99 in June. Well, in this case, nothing. Jake doesn't exercise. Jake loses his money. And I keep my shares. I keep the shares, I keep the dividend, and I keep the 460 gave me. So for that 99 come June, I might come back and say, let's do this puppy again. And the same situation applies. But if it goes down, let's say it goes down to 75. Well, Jake's out this. Now, if it goes down to 75, I'm down to, my money at risk is, in that case, I've lost 70, I'm down to 7. So let's say, again, I put 93.79 in there. Or no, 87.65. Minus, it goes down to 75. So now I'm down $1,100. $1,100. Because I own the shares still. I still own it. I still get the dividend. And I've already spent essentially that premium that Jake paid me. So Jake loses 406, but now my share price has gone down from 95 to 75. I still own the shares. I still get the dividend, and presumably as Walmart continues to pay its dividend, my dividend yield will go up. It doesn't matter, again, because I already own the shares. And so what happens in this case is now I'm sitting there thinking, this is where I made a huge mistake. All right, let's do it again. So now I'm going to sell an option at 80 for June 2020, because we'll just fast forward and say it's next year. Well, now if that matures where the Walmart goes above the $80 strike price, and let's just, I'm down. I lose. I have to deliver the shares at 80, but I still have money at risk at 87.65. So I've essentially potentially locked in my losses. This is the exact thing that happened to me in 2000. I was selling options against a stock that was declining. And when a stock declines, it continues to sell 6 month leaps, 6 months leaps, 6 months leaps. If the stock eventually starts making, it was PetSmart, that's what it was, PetSmart. And it essentially started making its way back up. I wasn't getting hardly any of the upside, and I remember when PetSmart got called for me, I locked in. It was about a 25% loss. I was like, oh, because I didn't ever expect PetSmart to go from, I think it went down to 4, then it went to 16, and it was called for me. So I missed. So I sold an option. It was at 4. I sold it for 5 out of money, so that's a 25% increase. And then during that 6 month interval, maybe it was in a year, I think it was 6 month interval, PetSmart went to like 16 or something like that. And I had purchased it initially for 30. So 30, I wrote it all the way down to 4, selling options. So my total money at risk was not 30. My total money at risk was probably 22 when you factor in the premiums I was getting, and PetSmart did not pay a dividend. My total money at risk was probably 22, and then when I sold it again, it got called for me at 5, and it went up to 16. That Jake in that case made out like a bandit. So I had to deliver the shares. I think I had 5. I can't remember, but I think a couple hundred, maybe 500 shares. I had to deliver the shares at $5 a pop, and my money at risk is 22. So I got hammered. I got hammered on that, and that's the thing about selling options. If you turn around and do it on a declining share price, you essentially, if you're going to keep doing this, you're going to lock in your losses. And I'm just telling you, don't do that. So if you're doing an option, maybe do a long-term option out of the money in January 2021, I think, where you get $12.80 for your premium. At least you know for a fact if Walmart does exercise above your price, you're going to get $12.80 for a premium for your premiums. Plus, you'll get whatever the price is between now, what you bought, what it's worth at 95 versus 100. You know for a fact what your max will be, but that way you don't sell another one. You don't. You absolutely don't sell another option against it, because you'll do what I did, which is selling options against a declining stock, which will lock in your losses big time if the market turns against you. And that's exactly what happened. All right, lots going on here. I hope this helps. I'd love to hear questions, thoughts, or comments on selling covered calls. Lesson of the story is round lots. You got to have round lots. You got to be willing to take the gamble that you're going to have an upside limit. That's a fact. If you're buying an option, you got to be willing to take the money at risk of the option premium. That's a fact. So there's two things happening there. More risk to the guy who's buying the option, simply because he's most likely not going to generate enough to cover his money at risk on the option premium. More risk to him, but certainly a lot more return. Less risk to the person selling the option, because you're actually reducing your risk from the option premium. That's a fact. But you're also going to have upside limits. We know, that's risk reward, man. More risk, more return. Less risk, less return. We know that. That's how it works. You're selling an option against a stock that you own. Don't sell it if it continues to decline. That's just my experience, unless you're going to be actively looking to close out that position if you see volatility in there. If you do that, more power to you, but just be careful, because I've made that mistake and it cost me lots, thousands in 2000. So hope this helps. As always, if you like what you see, subscribe, comments, questions, concerns, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.